Hi there, my name is Dusty and I have a 2008 Toyota Tundra. It has 169,000 miles on it. And I ran into a problem and I couldn't really find anything online about how to take care of that. So I figured I would just share with you what I did. Maybe it'll help you out. That's what I'm hoping. So I noticed that my brakes were going down too far. And so I checked them out. The front pads were good. The back pads needed to be replaced, but what we noticed is that they were locking up on the slide pin, so we got that moving good. Drove it down the road about a half a mile, and the brakes felt normal again. Well, since the back pads seemed like they needed to be replaced, I went ahead and picked some up. We replaced those. Also, I turned my front rotors, got ready to put them on, and I noticed that the front caliper had a stripped thread in there, so I couldn't tighten the bolt up good. Picked up a new one, put it on there. And that's when we really noticed the major problem. And what it was is the brakes, I could not bleed the brakes. Whenever I pushed the pedal, it would go all the way to the floor, and no brake fluid would come out of the bleeder valves. And so we realized there was a problem, and that's when we started trying to figure things out. So if you were to drive the truck down the road, there would be absolutely no brakes at all. You could push that brake pedal to the floor. Nothing at all would happen. When we checked the engine codes, we had one code, the C1247, that said the ABS outlet valve coil right rear circuit was open. And another code that we had was the C1247, which said the ABS inlet valve coil left front circuit was short to ground. So basically, it was just bypassing everything, recirculating fluid. Nothing would go through this valve at all. All right, this is my ABS brake controller sitting right there beside the master cylinder. You see there's two main lines going in, two lines going out, and two lines going out. So you got 4 lines going out. And if you were to look down in here, that's a 12mm bolt there, another 12mm bolt there, and then there's another one on the back side over there. So if you undo those 3 bolts and these lines and this wire harness right here, you see it pulls up, and that's only one click. You have to go up another click. You have to pull them up about an inch in order for it to actually have everything disconnected from that ABS unit. Okay, so here I am, driver's side here, battery, fuse box. This area here is where that ABS pump came out of. And this is the actual wire harness here. So you can see there, good connection, a lot of holes there. This pin here is up and down. See, it comes right on up. It should go up that high. So as you see, it's at least an inch of travel. So if it only comes up about a half an inch, you don't have that thing up enough to really get that off of there. And down there where the blue rag is, that's where it was sitting. You see a stud right here. You also see, let's see what we got here. We have any more studs that you can see here. There we go. One stud back over here, and then there's one stud down here. So there's only 3 studs that hold that on. And then of course these 4 right here are attached to the front of the pump. And then these 2 are coming in from the top. So what I did is to remove those, after loosening them from the pump itself, I went over here to the master cylinder. I just barely loosened those up so that I could pivot or just spin those hard lines on there is what I did. And so that is an actual 12mm that's on that. And then these smaller ones here are actually a 10mm. All right, so what I've got here is I've got the VSC or ABS control module. This is pulled out of my truck. There's 4 ports on the top, 2 inputs, 2 outputs, and then 2 outputs on the front here also. I'm trying to let you see that. If you turn it around, you can see where it says right on there, you know, Toyota. Sorry if it's backwards, but it's just the way we're doing this. And then this is what holds the brakes in. There are 3 bolts there, or 3 studs in the wheel well that go through this, and you put the nuts on there. So I'm going to give you a little picture of that wire harness there. You can see how many pins there are on that wire harness. And so this is what the actual module looks like when it comes out. It's just identical part number as the one I'm replacing, but it won't just work correctly until it has some additional programming. All right, now before I put this last one that's going to go in this hole here, I'm going to take this wire harness here and I'm going to go ahead and attach it. You'll notice that this clip is pulled all the way up now, and so I'm going to slide it on there. It's not an easy thing. Push it on there as best I can. Get a good squeeze there. Slide that down. There, it clicked down. I don't know if you heard that or not. It clicked down. The bottom is tight, the front is tight. So now I'm ready to go ahead and take this little plug out and swing this line right over into place. Whenever you do that, you know, these lines are not always really easy to get started. So I'm going to make sure that I'm going to slide my nut kind of right on down there, and then I'm going to try just putting it in the hole and see if I can't get it to start. You know, I'm being extremely careful because the last thing I want to do is cross thread one of those and ruin my valve, you know. So I'm going to work on this with 2 hands and I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm going to work on that valve right there with 2 hands and I'll be right back. Okay, so we finished installing the VSC control valve in the truck. Bled all of the brake lines out really good, and took it for a test drive. The brakes are working like they should now. Fantastic. Just so grateful. But we still have our VSC light on, our ABS light on, our anti-skid light, and all those things. And so I checked out the codes on the computer, and then we have a new code. It's C1370. And that basically says that VSC controller does not match the truck. It's not the same engine, transmission, you know, that sort of thing. And so what we did at that point, there's several great places on the internet that you can look at that explains to you that you can actually go to where you connect to the diagnostic under the steering wheel there, and you can actually fix that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a picture of that up for you to look at in just a moment so that you see how to do that. It's very simple. But before I do that, I just want to share with you that, you know, this truck is a really nice truck. I love Toyotas, if you know me at all. It has a lot of miles on it. But, you know, as much as I work on it, someday it's going to end up in the junkyard because it's just going to get old. And it's just like us. People, we get old too, and we end up dying also. But, you know, whenever we die, there's actually hope for us. Like when it goes to the junkyard, it's going to be smashed, recycled, be gone out of here. But whenever we die, we only have 2 choices. We last for eternity. Either we are with God for eternity or else we're in hell for eternity. And God doesn't want us to go to hell. He really doesn't. That's why he sent his son Jesus to die for us, to make a provision for us. And all we have to do is embrace that, accept that, and begin a relationship with him. And when we're in relationship with him, it says that we become his friends, and that he writes our name into the book of life, and that someday, whenever we stand before him, he opens that up. It's like an address book, and he goes, here's your name right here. And it's so simple to do this, yet it will cost you everything because it changes the way that you live your life. And so I just encourage people to say a simple prayer like, Lord, I thank you for dying on the cross for my sin. I know I've just been living my own way for a long time, and today I want to make things right with you. And so I surrender my life to you, and I ask that you help me. It's that simple. It's that simple. And then you just get to know him, because that's really what it's about. Heaven isn't really about a place. It's about being with God. It's about a relationship. And that's what he wants to establish here on this earth. So when we establish one on the earth, we get to continue it in eternity. So it's really simple. All right, so I told you I was going to give you this here information on reprogramming the VSC. And so on here, I'm going to hold this up in hopes that you can read this. I'm going to back up a little bit. There we go. And what it's going to tell you to do is it's going to tell you there are there are 2 wires that you need to short across to each other. and you turn the key on, you short that set of wires out 4 times rapidly within 8 seconds. Then you turn your key off. And then after you turn your key off, you short them out and leave it shorted, and then turn your key on for 2 seconds, and it reprograms the VSC so all those crazy lights go away. And then when they go away, oh my goodness, it's so much better. And so I want to show you here really quick. Let's see. This right here is a picture of it. So this one, my controller was actually upside down compared to this one. But if you look at that, it's pointing at number 4 on the one side there. And so those are the ones that you're going to want to short out. But you, like I said, you can go online, and there's several different write-ups about doing this. It works for Tacoma, Tundra, and whatever. So listen, I hope this helped you. If it helped you, then give me a thumbs up there. And if it didn't, I'm sorry that I couldn't help you. All right, you have a great day.